So today we're gonna be looking over the Heroes of Newerth patch notes here for the 4.5.0 patch here. And first we see they have changed the matchmaking system. 4 and 5 player queue restrictions has been lifted, so you can now play as 4 people still. Change that back from before you had to be 5 and you can only queue up against 5 other players, which you don't have to do now. Now you will be able to 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 QS5 and still face three players or 2 players or even 1 players, but they will priorities being matched with other 5-man queues. They've also done some changes to the lane creep aggro here, reduced from 800 to 600 aggro range, and also in the jungle, the change so it should be easier to stack and pull camp without physically having to attack them actually. And then we have 3 hero reworks here. First off, we have Engineer, which they change. The keg will still be the same, and Steam Turret has gone through some changes. It will be more of a carry ability now than a slow, with attack damage scaling on Engineer's attack damage and agility. And it will attack one target, which is the hero that Engineer attacks. Yeah, and they've also changed the ulti to be more of a carry ulti. The ulti will deal physical damage from a turret in the center of it. See here, 40, 60 and 80 physical damage, 1.5 second base attack cooldown. And then we have a small rework here on Fade. His Cull ability will drain significant amount of mana here, 28% of maximum mana, pretty much. And Burning Shadow, this is a stun, similar to the one he had before. And then they have Shadow Walk, a sort of escape spell here with disjointing and single target immunity. And also some movement speed slow to chasing enemies. And also his reflection has been changed a bit to do 30% of target's current health over 2 seconds, so it will be more viable in the late game. Fade has had some difficulties with that before. And then Clean Cloud, they also changed. He's been close off for a while now, but once again he will be playable, and it will be the same Cloud as before, actually. And then we have the big Prophet rework here. It's pretty interesting actually. We'll see how this goes. I haven't yet to play him, but what we first face here is it's a little bit of a nerf, I would say. It's 200 magic damage and deliberate. It was the same as before, but they've reduced the bonus damage. It's just now 16% damage from all sources. Before it was 20%. And then we have a new spell here, Deaccelerate or Declarate. I don't know how to pronounce this strange word here, but you can post it in the comments if you know how to pronounce it. And it will deal a small amount of damage. You see here it starts with 50. Pretty okay in the laning, but then 125 magic damage is not a significant amount. And it will apply a long slow here, 40% movement speed slow for 4 seconds. It's pretty long. And then we have Shared Fate, which was his ultimate before, and it will passively replicate deliberately and declarate into nearest other enemies. And this will mean that his spells will always be costing 2 players when you spec these. 2, 3 or 4 players. It's actually quite big. And then we have this Raven form. And we talked about this before here in the Discord channel, but Heroes of Newerth now actually has a clear vision hero. It's a morph ability, and you will be morphed into a raven for 30, 45 or 60 seconds. You gain flight, 15% movement speed, and 2200 clear vision. Also, you will be able to cast spells while in this flight mode with clear vision, but they'll have the cooldown reduced of your You have the cooldown reduced of your spells, but attacking or casting spells in this form will lower the duration to 12 seconds. And then we have some small reworks here, or small changes. Apex has been buffed quite a bit. He now has the Staff of the Master effect, actually quite interesting here. You will be able to run around while channeling this heal spell. Can be quite overpowered if paired up with the right items, I would say. And then Berserker, this shitty hero they changed. I don't know. Boom Dust Bombarder still getting nerfed all the time. And then we have some bubbles changes here. It's pretty interesting for one of the players we have in the channel here, a regular Eric Larsson, who would seem to like this. It's actually quite a buff here. Yes, and I think that was pretty much it. Oh yeah, we have a nice change here to Repulsor. Oh, more tanky buff here. He got some more armor and also some more agility. So and some more damage actually. A small increase. I don't know if that will make him playable. Oh, we also have Emerald Warden here. Cast range increased 500 to 900. That's actually quite a buff. That's actually quite a buff, I'd say. I don't see so much interesting here. Gold Whale is changed a bit actually. Yeah, magic damage reduced, gold reduced. Yeah, a little bit of a nerf here actually. 10% on 3 of his spells. And we have a buff here on Gravekeeper. Yeah, he's just a shitty hero. Actually, really shitty hero. Yeah, that's pretty much it, I would say. Well, thank you so much for listening, and I hope... Ooh, we also have a new item here. Really interesting. Yes, we have some more of a hardcore support item here. The Soul Trap is a pretty unusual item. You see it sometimes on new players. It's not so usual with my friends. But it's a heal item. I see. Oh, very interesting actually. Very interesting. Dreamcatcher. And we have also a new Twin Blades, Arcana and Broadsword. Hmm. Oh, we have actually some quite new items. Wind Whistle. Hmm. Oh, we have 200 golds. We have two new support items this patch. It was really interesting. Really interesting, I would say. Ah, they made a 50% increase here on the bottle, and health and mana restored per sip increased from 100 to 150. That's a significant amount actually. Significant amount. Yeah, they changed the energizer here to gain unit walking, attack speed, and 50 movement speed. I think that is a buff actually. Yeah, I would say. Also made a rework here on the Grave Locket. You're now allowed to gather experience even while dead, some like the Sacrificial Stone. They've changed the Grave Locket to be... What is this? They've changed the Grave Locket to be somewhat like the Orb of Samos, but you also gain bonus experience. Huh. They've actually done some pretty interesting changes here with the support items. I think support's gonna be be upcoming this patch. We're gonna see a lot more playing support. We've also had a struggle, always had a struggle with trying to make supporting more attractive, and I think that's a good step in this direction. They've before tried to give them more gold, but now they're trying to deal with the issue that support's being underleveled. The problem is if they implement a new item to give more experience to a support, it's not only limited to a support, or a carry would be able to get it too and get advantages. But I think this is a support. Yeah. Yeah, they also changed Jade Spire. It's quite an unusual item. You would only see very situational. Oh, usually I would build it before I get a Kuldra, and then I would change my Jade Spire into a Kuldra's Sheepstick instead. It's Mana Tube, Major Totem, Recipe. Yeah, great item. Great item. 25% healing done. Yeah, I think we can see that on maybe not Nufora possibly, but Demented Shaman and Artesia. Maybe Scrap too. Scrap, it would be a great item for Scrap actually. Good stats for Scrap, mana regen, stats and healing done. Lex, Talinoise, oh, very unusual item. Me myself would sometimes build it, but now they've changed it to be some more powerful, but also more expensive. More mana regen. Yeah, yeah, I see. They changed it more to work like the Dura. You're now able to grant allies bonus armor too, or reduce armor of enemies, and reduce your own armor by 6 over the duration. Yeah, it's actually quite similar to Solar Crest in Dota 2. Interesting. Rework here on Sand Scepter. Why is that needed? To shoots a projectile, grants spells, debuffs. Yeah, 60% movement speed. Quite. It's somewhat like the electrician ultimate, I would say. You can also use it on enemies. Yeah, immobilize. It's actually an item quite similar to the electrician ultimate. 400 heal over 10 seconds. That's quite a significant amount. And I guess that what is this for today? Oh, yeah. Well, thank you so much for listening. I hope I will see you tonight on the Heroes of Newerth playthrough. Thank you, goodbye. And also have a shout out here to Ralliolo. It's he doesn't play so much right now, but it's an old player. It's an old player.